Hi there. Welcome to Kira Kira Studios' first podcast. My name is Shayla Simons, and I'll be one of your hosts for the show. Joining me are my co-hosts are Francesca, aka Mickey Calendar, Darian Blanchett, and Deanna Mongarai. You can call Mickey the mother of our group, even though she definitely resents that, as well as a black female animator and gamer. I had the privilege of not only going to school with her, but also she was my roommate for 3 years. Our friend, Darian Blanchett, is also an avid gamer and lover of Final Fantasy. And Deanna Mongarai is an illustrator with a passion for anime and probably someone you would be awarded the Real Life Shoujo Protagonist Award if there was an award like that out there. We will also have our own friends and guests in between to help us discuss different topics we enjoy as they come. But before we get into our first episode, I want to give you some background on why we started this show. If you haven't noticed, being a person of color pop culture lover in the year 2020 is still a foreign concept. The idea that someone of color or someone of African descent can enjoy the art of storytelling through frame-by-frame movement is still confounding to people. This goes for most women of color in pop culture. They are often found with ridicule or disbelief, thinking we are trying to gain attention to the male eyes, which is not true at all. I have loved cartoons and video games since I was a child, spending my days watching and learning from pop culture that inspired me. But it seems that more and more we're finding other like-minded individuals relegated to the corners based on their race or gender and not receiving seats at the table. This is why I'm creating this podcast, in which me and my friends discuss most of our favorite topics ranging from cartoons and movies to anime and video games. It's a start to bringing conversation from our perspective. Also, personally, I don't hear a lot of black women talking about it together unless it's in the privacy of our groups. Whether we're having an actual intellectual discussion of pop culture or simply laughing our asses off as friends, I think this will be a fun project that we can do together until we get bored or until we are free to leave our houses. Without further ado, Kira Kira Studios presents Kira Kira Discusses. Hey y'all, this is Shayla, and welcome to our first inaugural episode of Kira Kira Discusses, presented by Kira Kira Studios. And with me, I have today Deanna, Darian, and Mickey. But who are these people, you ask? Well, we're just going to break that down real quick. Just say a quick hello, you guys.
Oh, my name is Deanna.
I'm Darian.
Mickey, are you there?
Oh, yeah.
No, it's okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mickey.
All right. So we're going to start this podcast off, our first podcast, by just saying we are, if you don't know us, but don't know us at all, we are all women of color. I am black, Mickey is black, and Darian is black, and Deanna is Latinx, and we're here to just discuss a bit of podcast stuff with you guys today. And we have a couple of topics, but overall, we're just here to hang out with you guys. So we're really excited to bring you this new show of ours. And so, yeah, you guys excited? What do you think?
Yeah, I'm definitely
Let's get
excited.
into it.
Dude, I've been excited.
Yes, let's go.
I mean, basically, this kind of all started. Well, one, I've always wanted to do a podcast. It's been like my dream for a long time. But also, I mean, there is this huge elephant in the room called Corona. So I'm like, what? And we're all stuck in our houses. And I was thinking to myself, well, why not? What else better thing to do than just make a podcast?
Yeah, we're all stuck in the house anyway, so why not?
I think it's a good chance to do something different and stuff like that. But yeah, so we're going to be talking about a few news stories that we've been going on. One of the things I wanted to talk about is that since this whole quarantine and Corona thing has been going on, basically a bunch of animated movies and even live action movies have been making the switch over to direct to streaming. They're not even bothering with with going to the movie theaters because they are closed unless you go to a drive-in ones. And so the biggest one that started the trend was Trolls World Tour. Has anyone of y'all seen that yet?
Not yet.
Not yet, but I wanted to.
I haven't seen it yet, but I plan on trying to stream it with my younger cousin because the trailer alone, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it's beautiful. Like, I got the chance to see it a couple weeks ago, and like, I love the different art styles. Like, they really like upped up the upped up the ante with like the animation stuff. They did things along with like they did 2D, 3D. There's one part in the movie where like it looks like it's sort of stop motion, but it's just that they cut the frame rate down, I think, and made it look stop motion. And then there's even a live action segment where there's like a huge like shirtless man just walking around. Like, you have to see the movie to believe it, but it's really weird. But yeah.
Dang, exciting me even more for the movie.
Yes, I really like how they expanded the lore of the Trolls universe, because I saw the first one and I was like, okay, this is a nice, good, contained story. But then with the second one, they went into like, oh, there's more trolls, like, and they're related to different music. So like classical pop, rock, funk. Funk is awesome. I love funk, and then country, which is hilarious because I think their whole thing is just like they talk about really depressing stuff, and it's like, kind of. But there's also like country that's like fun. But I guess like the core of country, if you're getting to pure country, it's more talking about sad stuff. I don't know. I don't listen to country that much to know.
Are you talking about like the stereotypical like, oh, she left me for my brother and like stuff like that?
Probably. Well, no, like Kelly Clarkson, who plays the country troll, she sang this one song. I don't know, from like the dude. It's from a dude. She sang the song "Born to Die," which in a kids' film, I'm like, oh wow, that's their introductory song for country. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about it, even though that is in there, it doesn't exactly surprise me because there is a segment that there's the trolls get to meet, essentially like Poppy and Branch meet the troll version of Kenny G, and basically he has them in some of induced trance quotation marks. That is all I'm going to say on that. And Branch can't feel his face.
Yes.
I saw that and I was like, yeah, that is. I don't know how to feel about that.
Honestly, the smooth jazz troll is like, it's pretty like definitely Kenny G related, and it's just like he's there for a minute and he's out. But they also have, I know Mickey would like this, but they have K-pop trolls. It's like a group of K-pop trolls.
I saw that.
Okay, the only thing I'm excited for the K-pop trolls really is the fact that they do essentially a dance battle with reggae. That is what I'm excited about, because really, he used the K-pop trolls, but they only had really like, I think there was only like one song from Red Velvet.
Yeah, I think so. Like, they were there for a minute and then they're out. But their whole thing with like the K-pop and the reggae tones is that they're like the trolls that don't have a legitimate space. It's like, it almost seems like they're kind of like Native Americans, and they don't have really a space in this troll world, and so they're like trying to get a space.
My brethren.
It's like that. It's like that kind of politics or whatever.
Oh, that hurts me even more now. Oh.
But yeah, like, it's a really great movie. I highly recommend it. I think it's better than the first one. People are saying it's better than the first one, so I'm like, okay. I mean, I've liked the first Trolls and I like the second one, so. But yeah, I think another movie that came out was also that also like they took inspiration from Trolls 2 was Scoob, and like I was so excited for Scoob because I'm like, you remember this? We were like in class together, and I showed you guys the 3D mock-ups of the gang, and I'm sitting here like, they look fantastic in 3D.
I think we were roasting like Freddy because he was the one that looks the most out of place in the 3D space.
He extremely does. I'm not gonna lie and say that they weren't very well done because they were. I love the way that Velma and Daphne were translated into 3D, but design just, I don't know. It doesn't feel right. Like the live action the second live action Scooby Doo movie where Freddy all of a sudden had really long hair. It's like that.
Oh yeah.
But like, I think they look great in 3D, and like they're trying to do like with the Scoob movie, they're trying to do like a Hanna-Barbera like cinematic universe.
Yeah. I'm sorry for interrupting you, but yeah. It had me like really excited because I know that they like, I guess like kind of spoilers because I spoiled the movie for myself. I saw that they had like Dick Dastardly in it and like his little apprentice and like one of the Pussycat singers, or I think
apparently like that girl that's with like I forgot his name. Red Falcon, I forgot his name. Something purple, I don't forgot it. Blue Falcon.
Yeah,
she's part of this old Hanna-Barbera show with a caveman, which I have never heard of. I'm sitting here like there must be a whole slew of shows of Hanna-Barbera shows that I have never even heard of.
Yeah, I think I know the one that you're talking about, but I can't think of the name either.
But yeah, like they're really trying hard in that movie to make a whole cinematic universe. But I think they're like, I personally think like they could have just been fine making like a 3D Scooby Doo movie, and it would have been fine.
Oh yeah,
because they're kind of doing a lot in that movie.
Like nobody would have expected them to make like this like cinematic universe, like almost to like the same degree as like Marvel, if I'm being quite honest.
Right. It just feels like it feels like every company wants a Marvel cinematic universe. Like I forgot, like they wanted like the Halloween movie cinematic universe with like the Mummy, and like that didn't work out, and then I forgot another one like with like the Hanna-Barbera. I'm sitting here like everybody wants their own piece of that Marvel pie.
Oh yeah, because I guess I've seen like how profitable it is to have like this expansive universe and then like make movies like correlating to each one. Because honestly, I'd be excited for a Hanna-Barbera like movie series.
Yeah,
because right now is like the time to be like profiting off of that stuff with like everybody in quarantine.
Yeah, and like the idea that all the movies are coming to video on demand, it's like a perfect time because people have really nothing else to do. They got kids in the house. It's like, how are they going to entertain the kids? I guess watch like they get a movie on demand. But the problem with that is like they're already having problems with the fact that like they're charging kind of egregious amounts for their movies. Because like with the Trolls movie, it's they wanted $20 to rent. And you're sitting, and that's a 48-hour rental period. And I'm saying, like, I don't want to pay $20 for a rental movie.
For a rental movie, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
those are insane.
I guess to like justify it, like
it's like I get it.
Oh, my bad. I was just gonna say, like, some like in the movie theaters around like where I live in my county, it's like it can range to like $6 like per ticket, and like for a family of like 4, it would already be like $24, So I guess they can like justify that, but usually like rentals are a week, not like 48 hours.
Right. And so that's where I feel like we're already getting off the train a little bit. It's like you're charging like $20 to rent it when you could probably, what Scoob did is that you can I think they did $20 to rent and then $24 to just go ahead and buy the whole movie. But I'm saying like, is that how much? I haven't bought a DVD in years. So I'm saying like, do people want to buy a $25 movie? I'm just like, is that what people want to do like with their money?
Yeah, I mean, it really does depend. Like, say if it's like a box set or something like that, or it's say like a set that's a box set that's of a series, then that's worth at least $25. But usually for a lot of DVDs, especially Blu-rays, if anything, Blu-rays you can normally lease about $20. But most DVDs, if it's not Blu-ray or if it's just like an HD DVD, they're usually about $12 at the minimum.
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't know. I think like they're charging too much right now. I think they're kind of like trying to capitalize on the fact that everyone's at home trying to figure out what to do. And so like, I'm not sure like I mean, apparently they're doing well because like Scooby-Doo was like probably the most profitable VOD sales, and Trolls did really good. Like they made like a hundred million. Don't quote me on that. 100 million. So I mean, they're doing well, but like it obviously won't be enough to like make up for box office sales. So I'm just concerned about like, is it enough?
Honestly, I feel like Trolls got more in their box office sales with like the VOD thing going on right now.
Absolutely.
But like, yeah, I mean, we'll see. Like, I know with the trend with Trolls, like they already pissed off the movie theater. They're like, we're not gonna show any more DreamWorks films. And I'm like, well, we can't even go to the theater. So I'm like, this is kind of petty, bro.
Yeah, that's with the theaters.
But like, we'll see how this goes down. If there are any more movies that go like, I think a live action one with Stacey Ellis Ross is coming out on VOD, but that's live action. But who would have thought that the movie to make film history would be Trolls 2?
Yeah, so much stuff is making history this year that
like if 2020 turns out the way it is, the most popular movie of 2020 is the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Oh no.
Are you serious?
Okay,
I mean, that's where we're at.
Is that real?
Has anybody else seen the Sonic the Hedgehog movie? Because I have very strong feels just because I might get crucified for this, but I don't always think that video games can be transferred over to TV and movies because
they can't.
Seeing how it works, and in my opinion, it does depend on the format that it's in, because I've seen video games such as number one that just didn't cross over well. Mortal Kombat, it was good for its time because it was the 80s, I will say that, but at the same time, there are certain games, there's certain genres that you just can't try to bring over to something as like a live action movie. I was very surprised with how well Sonic was done, even though I know for sure that there is absolutely a conspiracy theory with the whole animation companies design, which I know everybody has strong feels about, because the people that originally made that design are I believe I heard that they actually got fired and they weren't hired back to make the new design, or they got fired immediately after fixing it.
That's what I heard. I'm like,
oh, that's pretty whack.
But the idea... go ahead.
Oh, sorry. It was a movie that was made... You could tell that what the audience was made for, and it was terrible. But I'm also going to say that this is absolutely worth waiting for that sequel so we can see Tails and Knuckles and Amy, Rose.
Oh, is the sequel confirmed?
Confirmed, but it was very... I haven't heard of a sequel being confirmed, but it was very, very highly insinuated at the fact of that at the end of the movie, you see Tails just drop down out of nowhere. And I was thinking, is this going to be Sonic X? Is this what's going to happen?
Oh my gosh, wait, is this a spoiler? Did we?
I guess we did, huh?
Spoilers for Sonic the Hedgehog.
Spoiler warnings.
Spoiler warning. I guess I'll put that in the beginning of that.
I mean, it's been out since what, February?
Yeah, and like it got released onto like VOD like earlier than that. So I mean, if you haven't seen the Sonic movie, but at the same time, we're not terrible people. Let's just say spoiler warning. Someone must have been real jazzed about seeing the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and then they're like, "Oh man, you just spoiled the movie."
We can't have that happen.
Thank goodness.
But yeah, so what do you guys think of the trend for the direct to stream movies? Like, is this going to be happening more? Is this like are we in the new age of like films? Like,
I think it's like a high time that this had happened. Honestly,
why do you say that?
With like everything being like so digital and like in our era, I feel like for some people it's more convenient to just like watch movies at home. Some people don't want to go do like the whole like just like the whole dance and tango of going to the movie theaters. Like a lot of times, back at like when we were like in college, I remember just thinking like, I wish I could just like go watch this movie like while doing homework, you know, like just having it in the background instead of like, you know, like dedicating like sometimes like a 3 to 4 like hour bus ride from like ECU to the movie theater sometimes.
I'm just gonna go ahead out and say it. That there's something this should have happened, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I believe that all these streaming services came out so people can watch movies and not have to pay $15 for a bucket of popcorn.
Here, here. I firmly agree with that notion.
Oh, but the popcorn is so good, though. I like movie theater popcorn. It's better than the popcorn I make at home.
I can make the exact same stuff at home, though.
I mean, I guess you want bagged popcorn, but like...
I like bagged popcorn, hey!
It's fine. It's just that you get that real pop smell that you get in... You walk into the movie theater, and then you're like... You give them their ticket, and they cut it, and then they go to get your food, and it's like, I would like a medium popcorn with a Sprite, and they're like, that'll be $15.75. I'm like, it's what?
Yeah, that's where you lost me.
I will say that I'm not gonna lie, even though it is more convenient, like for something now that's happening, like I know everyone has seen that Avatar has moved over to Netflix.
Yes.
Yep. Convenient that has happened, but let's say the at some point the movie theaters decided to play some of the TV episodes just at the theaters. I'm just speaking completely out loud because we've seen that movie theaters will replay old movies such as Ghibli films. They will play Ghibli films on anniversary days or just have a Ghibli weekend. So I think that people will eventually miss that sort of feeling of being able to go into a movie theater and having the experience of just being able to sit down at the big screen or like having a movie date night or something like that. But I guess it's also like trying to find a balance with that because there are some people that are going to want to have that experience and there are some that are just like, well, I don't feel like spending $25 on just myself to go to the movies, so I'm just going to turn on my Netflix. So boop.
Yeah, I see that argument. So, but I mean, time will tell. I mean, I do miss going to the movie theaters. Like literally the last movie that I saw in theaters was Onward. And then the whole thing came crashing down and like they moved Onward to Disney Plus. And I'm sitting like, you telling me I could have just waited until 3 weeks for Disney Plus to put it on, have Onward to put on Disney Plus. But like, I mean, you're never gonna like forget those like movie moments, like going to movies and stuff like that. So I mean, I guess only time will tell what will happen with that.
It could become obsolete like drive-ins. I miss drive-ins.
But the thing is, drive-ins are making a comeback, though. Like because they're the acceptable social distancing activity that you can do out in public. Drive-ins are having their heyday because you can go watch a movie, but in the safety of your car, and you're going to be 6 feet away, or have the actual car protect you from corona.
Yeah,
that makes so much sense.
What, Deanna?
Oh, I was just saying, like the one in my town has been like popping off lately. Like a lot of people seem to be like coming like even like out of state from Virginia all the way over here.
Yeah, and you live near Eden, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like there's a drive-in in there. So I've never been there, but like I mean they're having their heyday because that's the only way. That's how the movies are getting away with like showing it in theaters, and if they're transferring over to home digital, that's how they're able to get away with it if they're doing it at a drive-in movie, and like that's the only way you can do it.
Oh, that's slick. That's slick. I never thought of that. Well, I'm gonna be looking up drive-ins for the rest of the afternoon.
Nice. But speaking of Netflix, segue. They did put Avatar: The Last Airbender on Netflix, as well as we did get an announcement that they are releasing Cardcaptor Sakura on Netflix, I think in June. And so I'm sitting, yeah.
Oh,
that's my childhood.
I've never seen. actually have never seen Cardcaptor Sakura. I just assume
Yeah,
it's
me
one of
neither.
those. I assume it's like one of those anime that like, yeah, I need to watch, but I haven't.
Yeah.
Like I'm more of the magical Do-Re-Mi childhood, the magical girl anime.
Everybody grows up with their own like coveted magical girl anime.
Mine was Cardcaptor Sakura.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about
Yes.
that. I'm excited that Netflix is taking that deep dive into older anime and
Yeah.
trying to get the rights to stream them, because that way people who want to know what these old anime are about, like with Neon Genesis Evangelion,
Yeah.
they can see exactly like what.
Because people want to be able to see those references.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I've
So
also noticed that they put up like Saint Seiya, like a bunch of the movies, and I think like every single season of the series too.
but Saint Seiya.
No, Saint Seiya. It's like I need to look it up to like say specifically what it is. Hang on.
But yeah,
That Netflix is also looking into taking excuse me, getting the rights for older shows, especially older cartoons and anime, because they're still at home. It kind of is also like your kids won't exactly get to have those same experiences. So if you can relive that little bit of nostalgia, it's pretty amazing. Because I grew up watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I absolutely that was one of my favorite gateway cartoons. Just growing up, that got me
yes.
into being an art student and animation. It was one of the best shows that I have ever seen. Has amazing character development. Has the greatest redemption arc. You can fight me on this.
Oh,
No,
dear.
I'm not going to fight you because that was fantastic.
It covers every problem and situation that is like some of the bigger ones that is faced in society now, and shows you different ways of how you can be able to handle it in a healthy manner. And it was one of my favorite cartoons, and I absolutely will be rewatching it. So I think that's important to probably try to get those rights, and I think that that's an amazing business move as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
like I was watching the first episode of Avatar the other day because me and David got a new TV, and I was just putting all the stuff on there, and I'm sitting here like, oh snap, look at that quality. Ooh, I don't remember these jokes popping like they did back in the day, but it's hilarious. It's so funny, and like definitely the first episode has more of that like anime vibe. Like you could tell that I forgot the studio that was working on it, Studio Mare or another Japanese studio that was working on it. Like they were really bringing their A game on that first episode, like and their facial animation and stuff like that.
I think you got the studio right. Yeah.
But yeah, I know they worked on Korra, which now we're hearing we're hearing debates about like who's better, and I'm sitting here like which was better, Avatar or Legend of Korra? Look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you which one is better. I think both of them are great companion pieces.
Exactly.
I think, because like I know some people have gripes that Legend of Korra like did some like went in weird directions and stuff, and then they were treated like crap at the end of their run. But like,
oh my god, yeah.
And so I'm just saying, like, I've liked Legend of Korra. Like, I can sit here and tell you that, like, after I think where were we at? Like 6 years after Korra came out, I still like Korra because I like what it brought to the series. Like, one, it brought it brought us a female protagonist / avatar, and like she was totally different from Aang in every single way. And she went through her own journey to be said avatar. And also, I just love the fact that throughout the series, we got to answer that question of like, will the Airbenders ever come back? And through some like narrative loopholes, yes, they came back. But like, and I'm really happy because I was thinking like, oh man, are you telling me that Aang's descendants are the only ones that'll ever be Airbenders? It felt really sad.
Yeah.
But it also showed different ways, different other forms of airbending, like how they mix with, like how Toph ended up just becoming a complete boss and used metal bending to create a police force.
Right? Like, I'm sitting here like, another reason why Thong is badass.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'll answer those age-long questions that we have in our fanfic. What will Aang and Katara's children look like?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I was not disappointed, let me tell you.
I know. I'm sitting here like, at least one of them, at least it was like we had like one waterbender. I think her name was Kaya. And then obviously the airbender, Tenzin. And then one that originally was non-bender, but then through like I forgot the whole narrative reason why, but the airbenders came back. He's an airbender. So I'm like, great. Airbenders.
He's an airbender. I love it.
Yes. So yeah. And then like, I mean, I will say the only gripe that I had with Legend of Korra is that they shoehorned the whole LGBT relationship with
that's
Korra
right.
and Asami. I'm sitting here like, I can look back at it, I'm like, I did not see the signs. I must be dumb, but I mean, but I'm like, I didn't see it. I just didn't see it. I mean, anybody?
That's
Not really, but something I do want to point out is like I want to say that Korra started out like the red and blue shipping, because after that I think was like Steven Universe with like Ruby and Sapphire being shipped together, and then in Voltron 2 like how Lance and Keith started getting shipped together.
Yes, can we actually go ahead and say that, because that's something that I was going to say. Like, I noticed that happening in Voltron as well, because I haven't seen too many episodes of it, so forgive me that I don't know all of their names. But the main guy was also revealed to be LGBT, and I was just kind of like, in some ways I can kind of appreciate the fact that his character wasn't solely based off of that, because I get really tired of seeing the whole thing about Korra's sexuality and her essentially being bi. It kind of goes like I've seen the same thing like for Voltron, because wasn't it also come out that the main character, like the main dude, was gay or something like that?
Yeah,
and it just seemed like it was just kind of out of nowhere.
Oh, Shiro?
Yeah, Shiro. I heard that happen too. I stopped watching, I think, at season 4, and before that happened, and then I kept hearing things about that, and I heard that Voltron was trying to queer bait, and I was like, oh no.
Oh dear.
I really am not okay with things like that, because it's kind of like I personally like the narrative of characters that are, if they're like, say, oh, there's a character who's gay, great, cool, but that doesn't need to like be of their character, but you also don't need to like automatically say it. Like, it feels like it should be just like a natural thing. Like,
yes,
there's this one webtoon that I've been reading called Crumbs. I don't know if anybody else has read it.
I read that one.
Crumbs, is that on webtoon?
It is.
Oh, okay.
It's basically the story between a young guitarist and a witch who becomes part of this council and everything, because she has the power to see what exactly is going to happen in the present. She can't see into the future. She can only see what is and is not absolute in the present.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's kind of cool.
But there's also certain things that she doesn't want to see that will and won't be absolutes, like things such as romance. She meets the guitarist in a bakery, and basically at first she was crushing on the guitarist's aunt, who also happens to be a lesbian, but she gets to know the guitarist a bit, in love with him. It wasn't seen as a whole thing. It wasn't made out to be like, why do you like him instead of just liking his aunt? It was just kind of like, it felt really natural. It was just like, it wasn't so much that she was going after one specific person or one specific gender or this, that, or the third. It was legitimately just, she wanted to be able to feel love. and that is what she was able to feel. But it also didn't seem like when it automatically came out that this character wasn't like a very big thing or wasn't to make the character more likable or make the series more likable. That was something, because I checked those ratings. I checked them because I was scared that would happen. Well, but it didn't, and I was really happy about that.
Well, with the ratings thing, I still am confused about with Netflix's rating system. Like how do we know like what's getting views and what's not? I mean, now we know sort of with their whole popular list thing on Netflix.
Oh yeah,
but I still get confused of like what deserves to get another season and what deserves to get canceled. Like it's just a matter of like talking about it on social media, or like is there an actual like part of the Netflix company that's looking at these numbers and be like, okay, this show has the right traction and the right publicity, let's give it another season. Because like there are some shows I'm saying you're like Tuca and Birdie. Before I that's another bit of news. Tuca and Birdie, like they got canceled. Like at the first season, and it was getting rave reviews. Like people were like applauding it for like the subject matter and these two millennial women in this city that looks sort of like Los Angeles or New York, if you want to, and just trying to make a way and talking about, especially during the time of I think Me Too was so prominent, and so like they just canceled it. I'm saying you're like, well, I don't think that was a great call. They also canceled She's Gotta Have It, the Spike Lee joint, talking about I forgot her name, but like she's basically polyamorous with 3 men and a woman. And I'm saying you're like, Netflix, what are you doing? Like, I'm not sure if it's because you getting low viewership or like the writing is trash, but like these are really important shows. They're talking about LGBT and talking about women, and you're canceling them. So
I also found it funny that these shows had been canceled at first, but I actually was reading an article where it just came out. This was through Animation World News. Tuca and Birdie is actually coming back for a second season.
Yes,
this summer, but it's not going to be on Cartoon Network. It's going to be on It's going to be on not Cartoon Network. It's going to be on Adult Swim and not Netflix.
Right. I am so excited about that, because I was sitting here like, I was so sad when I heard it got canceled, because I'm sitting here like, this is really powerful stuff, and it's really funny too. Like, I've had a lot of fun with this show, and I'm learning a lot too, and the writing's fantastic, and you're just canceling it. I'm like, that's why I'm like, I have no idea what goes on in the minds of the Netflix people, but I'm like, I'm sitting here like, there is a correlation here. Like, I'm not sure if there's a correlation or not, but it's just really convenient that like they're canceling these women-centric women of I can't say women of color for Tuca and Birdie, they're birds, but women, well, in terms of She's Gotta Have It, women of color shows. I'm like, I like, why, you know?
I think like what part of it was that, like, you know, the studio that had done the series for Tuca and Birdie and also did the animation style for BoJack Horseman, and they had like suddenly become like unionized. And so I think people were saying that because of it being unionized, the studio was getting like a bit more expensive to like produce like animations and series. And so I think that's why like Netflix decided to like not produce another like second season of Tuca and Birdie at the time, and why they decided to like, you know, all of a sudden like drop BoJack Horseman too, which was like one of the like arguably like one of their popular series on the platform too.
Right, like, and I loved BoJack Horseman. Like that show, it's on another level. Like it's not just on the level of like I enjoy it for the aesthetic and the story. It talks about some really intense themes that like a lot of shows are just they're not grasping it well. And like I can sit here and like tell you like what they're doing, but honestly I can't even tell you, like, because it's just something that like you need to take time to analyze, and a lot of other people that I know have analyzed it a lot better than me.
Mm-hmm. I think also for as far as She's Gotta Have It, like She's Gotta Have It was basically the remake of the movie that had first come out years ago that Spike Lee also acted in. I believe he played Mars, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he played the OG Mars. And then he got the I forgot his name, but he is cute, and he's gonna be in the Heights. Hold on, I'm gonna find him and I'm gonna link. Hold on, because I showed you him, Mickey, and you were like, "Why is he so handsome?" He's handsome, honey.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's also a thing. Like, I'm not sure if something like that was canceled just because it was women centric, it was LGBTQ centric. It could be because there was also difficulties with Spike Lee, who has been known to have some very questionable tactics, even though the stuff that he puts out speaks so many volumes. Like, she's got to have it. It was very, like, it covered a lot of bases that especially a queer woman would be able to face. However, there's also, like, it could also be that form of storytelling doesn't sit well with new audiences.
Yeah. But I don't know,
like recent times.
But the thing with Netflix and all these other streaming platforms is that they have more creative freedom than they think. They are not bound by the cable networks and whatever restrictions they have on what they can show. Like, I think I heard literally Netflix has no standards and practices. Like,
I heard that too.
FCC must be trying to have a field day with them.
Right. So I'm sitting here like, you could do whatever the heck you want. And so I'm like, but it's just, I don't know. Also, I wanted to bring it to the picture too, with One Day at a Time, that show with Latinx people, and one of the characters in One Day at a Time, I never watched the show, but One Day at a Time had a LGBT Latina in their cast. And they got canceled, but eventually they got picked up by a channel called Pop. Now, I don't know if you're seeing a pattern here, but I sure do see a pattern with what Netflix is so quote unquote canceling in their originals lineup.
There's a trend here.
But there's also been, but I think there's also I feel like it's falling more on the streaming services, but trends like this has been happening. Like, there's certain shows and movies that used to play on one long-standing channel or platform, and now they just move over to another one, because it could be a mix of, like, restrictions of creative freedom, it could be budgeting, it could be contracts going bad, it could be anything. I don't know if anybody has seen this, but Harry Potter now only airs on USA rather than Freeform, and they will pick any time to be able to show it. I saw a meme once that was saying Christmas, Harry Potter weekend, Harry Potter weekend, your mom's birthday, Harry Potter weekend.
Yeah, I noticed it too. Yeah. I think Freeform lost the right to show the Harry Potter movies, and that's why USA is showing them. Don't quote me on that.
They have been showing them for years long before the franchise even ended. That was also my thing. I also know that Freeform has also, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe that Freeform has also ever shown Fantastic Beasts. That's only been USA.
I think, that's probably part of their new deal, is that you can show all the Harry Potter movies, and now you can show the Fantastic Beasts movies as well.
Gotcha.
Maybe, I don't know, but yeah. But yeah. Well, segueing into our video game topic, earlier this week they released new gameplay footage for this new game that I think that will pique the interest of both video game and Japanese cultural history buffs alike, with Ghost of Tsushima releasing solely on PS4. Has anybody heard of that game?
I've
heard of it.
Like, I watched the game, the 18-minute. I don't think it was 18 minutes, but it was like a huge gameplay video. And it was like, but the game is gorgeous. Like, it's beautiful. And like, the gameplay looks really smooth and stuff like that. Like, it's from the people of Sucker Punch that I think made the Infamous games. So like they are regulars in the PS4, PS exclusives. And they just, like, the game just looks fantastic. Like, it looks like a beautiful game. They're taking a lot of inspiration from Japanese samurai culture. But I mean, I know that Mickey, you've have some insight into that.
Yeah. It could be I think they're taking a lot of reference to the era where samurai clans were very prevalent. I cannot talk. But I also think that sort of storytelling you have to be a little bit careful with, because like it's a way of trying to accurate as possible, or you could have a Chushingura where immediately, if anybody knows, that's the story of the 47 Ronin.
No, I don't know.
Basically,
that one.
I think I do somewhat.
Yeah,
I can't remember exactly.
Is a puppet storytelling of the 47 Ronin, and there's some portions where it's very obvious that that the story was to talk about what actually happened with the 47 Ronin, or it's a what is the word that I'm looking for? So it's another storytelling of it to try and explain everything that happened, but basically it's supposed to depict a portion of history, but it was also banned for a very long time from ever being shown afterwards, because there were a lot of people that took offense within the country as well.
Oh, okay.
But samurai culture, it goes way beyond, like just living by the Bushido code.
Right. And so that's what I'm wondering, like, what the story is about this. We know that the name of the samurai, I think his name is Jin, which is hilarious, because I'm thinking, when I thought Jin, I thought immediately BTS. So I was like, Jin, that character in BTS?
Worldwide handsome?
God dang
Right.
it.
And so I think it's like you see him in two outfits. You see him in his samurai garb, and then you see him as the ghost of Tsushima, and he's like a stealthy or character, and he's more willing to sneak around instead of being like this very like samurai-esque figure who like uses his sword and kills people and like all that stuff and everything. So I'm not sure. So I wonder what the story will entail in terms of like, will he be like a samurai who is always a samurai, or like does he fall from grace as a samurai? Like I'm wondering how they're planning on doing this story, because nothing's really been said. And then we know gameplay.
As far as samurai usually there were clans of samurai that were usually under specific lords. So it could be that the fact of he's going around and just punishing, because usually like if you offend a samurai, you can very easily lose your life. That may have been what you were talking about with just him using his sword to go around killing people. It could be that it could be depicting a revenge story, or he could have abused his power, because that's also a very big thing that you could have gotten in trouble for.
Yeah. Oh, well, but just the information that's out now said that they're going to be talking about the first Mongol invasion of Japan in the 2070s. So what that entails, I never did that research, but I mean, looks really cool and interesting. And it just honestly, when I saw that first gameplay like a couple of years ago, it just looks like a very like polished game. I'm sitting here like, oh my gosh, like who knows what you'll be able to do in this game. And it looks like it's going to be difficult. I don't think it'll be Dark Souls level difficult, but I think it'll cool about the game is that another cool thing about the game is that you can change the mode. You can change it to black and white and make it look like one of those older Japanese samurai movies. I'm saying like, oh snap! Like, but yeah, like I'm really excited. I don't think I'm not gonna buy it like day one, but I mean, looks great. Looks great.
I might just buy it day one because just just from the small bits of gameplay that I've seen, like being able to change it to a black and white, it just makes me immediately think, oh my gosh, this is just like in a Akira Kurosawa movie. I have to get it.
Right. So, do for the culture, you know?
There was this article that I was reading earlier where I think it's supposed to be a gameplay that's through the Loud House where Lincoln is like video calling his friend, and it's supposed to be really interactive for kids. It kind of looks like it's trying to teach kids how to use Zoom.
Like those, like, I've been seeing them on, like, Nickelodeon where, like, they have, like, little Loud House sessions, and you could tell it's, like, totally used with Flash, because it's super stiff, but, like, what are you gonna do? And so, and it looks, like, really cute, like, both Ronnie and Lincoln talking on video chat and stuff like that. And, but yeah.
I found out that what they used to create this was they actually use Adobe Character Animate.
Oh yeah, because that you can get that part of the suite. I never used that before. I remember trying to use that, and it looked really hard.
Interesting. It also kind of shows like how how Nickelodeon is trying to adjust kids to this new normal of being in quarantine. They video call too, so why don't you try to video call with people so you can stay safe while you're home?
Like Nickelodeon's been really cool about like doing stuff during this quarantine. Like they've been doing like happy birthday, like you can send in your birthday and they'll do like a happy birthday announcement on live TV, and that's really cute. They've also been trying to like do like little study break things with like during the commercial breaks, as well as trying to adapt with their shows that they have. Like I think they're starting one like group chat looking show called like, it's like a trying to do like a talk show kind of thing. And I'm like, I guess I can see they're trying to adapt to what's going on.
Oh my gosh, they're doing that with kids as well as the adults. I saw there was a commercial for Impractical Jokers. They decided to make like a dinner party TV show where they're all just on Zoom and they're all eating things. That's it. And they're just ripping on
that's
it. It's great.
No funny business.
Well, it was kind of funny. It was kind of funny business, but it was just kind of like, it looks like it's going to be more in the form of like skits that they're doing at home, but it's also just trying to mix the fact of they're each in different places. So
okay, gotcha. Yeah, because that's what a lot of like cable shows have been doing. Like some have made the switch really well to just doing like social distancing Zoom shows. Like I know like CBS has All Rise. That's what my mom watching. I think on Nickelodeon they did the Danger Squad, the show called Danger Squad did a whole episode on Zoom. I've been a bunch, and then a bunch of like older shows that just passed are doing like a bunch of charity Zoom episodes, like Parks and Rec, Big Mouth, a bunch of other shows too. Like I think Community's gonna do one, which I'm really excited for because they're getting Donald Glover back, which I'm like, you got Donald Glover back? Oh my gosh. So I'm really excited about that Zoom call. I mean, our Zoom episode, recording or whatever.
I want to see them do a Zoom episode for a Black Lady sketch show. I want to see that.
Oh, yeah. I hope they come back with that. It's so funny.
Well, I guess that was really the news that I had to bring to the table.
Hey, Deanna, you were going to say something. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that, with like COVID-19 going on, domestically speaking, like our entertainment business hasn't been like the only thing affected. With like anime, a lot of like anime productions have been halted. Like I know a few series that I was watching this season. Yeah, like they had to stop at like maybe like 5 episodes, and then like I know one series called like Appare Ranman. Like that one. Yeah, it got stopped at like 3 episodes before they said like, okay, I think this is like our limit before we have to like self quarantine and stop production.
Yeah, that has been the news, like the rotating news with anime. Like
Mhm.
what anime for the season has been getting like delayed because of COVID-19. There's
Yeah.
there's a wiki
Mm.
page. I think Crunchyroll has developing like page for all the delayed anime and the anime movies. Like I'm looking at the list right now on Wikipedia, and it's just like holy cow! Like
It's a long list.
It's still growing. That's the thing.
Right. So it's just like I mean like big times like Pokemon, One Piece,
Yeah.
Boruto, to like what you said, Ape Ranma, that the military detective show that everybody was like screaming over because he was so cute, and I
think I know what you're talking about. And then which other ones? I think Black Clover was another one.
Black Clover.
Another one that I found recently for this season was like Gyaru to Kyoru.
Oh, what's that about?
It was like about like this like a gal living with a dinosaur as like her roommate. It gives like the same vibes as like Pop Team Epic, but it's like more toned down. And it's kind of like, it has like a bunch of like skits like in the middle of it and a bunch of like wacky zaniness. Like they even had some, I thought for the longest time that they were like stop motion, like little mini animations, but I think they're honestly like 3D animated. They're just like that, like, uniquely animated.
Right. Oh, that's cool. But yeah. But like, and then movies like the Magical Doremi 20th anniversary film. I think that's getting released. I think that's getting released in September. That got re-released in September. And then just a crap ton of movies. And then like conventions. Don't even get me started on conventions.
Yeah.
Like everything and every convention has been canceled, including San Diego and E3. And like I'm just like, man, I hate to be the person that literally their whole livelihood is revolved around conventions. Cause like
I've been following some
especially
artists
something like San Diego Comic-Con.
What?
Said especially something like San Diego Comic-Con, because that is the biggest con that you can go to.
Right. I think they are transferring over to digital, but I'm sitting here like, you canceled, but also how are you going to make a con digital?
It's pretty much like I don't see it going well.
Zoom call.
So it's just like, go ahead.
Oh, my bad. I was just gonna say, like, on the other end of the spectrum, like a big like anime convention is like Anime Expo, and they didn't even announce that they were gonna cancel the con until like maybe like a month or two before.
Yikes.
And everybody was just like, why did you wait so long to cancel this and like tell us something? Like now we probably won't be able to like get our money back for deposits and like getting back the hotel money.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that they will, because like, I mean, this is a pandemic. You can't predict that. Like, but like, well, I mean, I've been hearing a lot of like people like in the anime industry that like they're literally their job is to talk about anime news and stuff, and like talk about how anime has been impacted by COVID-19, and so like the best suggestion was just like, well, at least you can catch it by anime you missed. So, I mean, has anybody been catching up on any anime or stuff?
I caught up on JoJo.
Nice.
I just started Fire Force.
Oh my gosh, I need to watch Fire Force. I got to the 8th episode and I just stopped.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
I had to
I need to catch up on Fire Force, but I started watching Carol and Tuesday. I also watched all of Violet Evergarden, including the movie, and let me just say, so many tears were shed, and the animation for that show is positively that's one of my top 5 most beautifully animated shows that I have ever seen.
I mean,
I heard
I
it's beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
like think Garden of Words, but a lot of the highlights for the lighting they aren't just like one solid overlay color. It's a mix of so many different colors. And the ending, if you have never seen the ending sequence, the ending sequence alone is the most beautiful thing that I have ever seen, and it's just a walk cycle
For Violet Evergarden.
Yeah, for Violet Evergarden. I'll go ahead and say spoilers. For Violet Evergarden, for the ending, there's 4 different walk cycles that you see Violet do, and just watching those walk cycles was just beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful.
Wow, yeah. I know. I thought you were talking about the Carol and Tuesday one, because I know they did a walk cycle too at their ending, and that's just, it's a cute little song that they did. And then, like, honestly, I've just been like, I have not watched, like, I need to catch up on anime. I need to watch Fire Force. I need to watch all the Netflix one that like mixed like Carol and Tuesday and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and even the ones that like even got canceled, like even got delayed. So I'm like, I need to watch at least watch those and then wait until they're back on their production. But it's actually kind of interesting because it's now we kind of have an insight on how production goes for anime. It's not like, oh, they make the anime in a year, depending on what it is, a year, and then they release it on that season. It sounds like they're doing anime literally a week at a time, and that sounds super scary for production.
Oh my gosh.
I could not imagine working under that like pressure.
Week. Oh my.
So like I'm shocked that like this is how they're doing things, and it's no wonder that the industry is like they having the I wouldn't say problems, but it's just like the issues that they're having, like with worker health and conditions and stuff like that. Yeah, if you try to get it out in a week, then Jesus Christ, yeah, you're gonna like it's gonna be difficult.
Because then there's just trying to get all the frames right, the color, the lighting, mixing all of the audio.
It's like, geez, like that can't be healthy. But I mean, but once again, we kind of knew this as Westerners. We knew that like us coming in the animation field would probably not work for us in the first place. It's a totally different system, a totally different beast. So
absolutely.
I wish y'all luck with that one.
Yes, thank you, Darian. But yeah, Darian, do you have anything you want to bring to the table?
Well, I did find some few things, so I'll just get some numbers out of the way. Within the first 2 months of this year, since the whole COVID-19 nonsense, most U.S. spending is up to about $1.6 billion. And that's just from gaming equipment, hardware, software, accessories, game cards, all of that.
Whoa.
30% boost compared to last year.
Wow. That's insane.
Why do you think that's happening?
Honestly, I think it could be a number of things. Like, without the sales and stuff going on, of course, people are going to buy more shit because, one, they're stuck inside. They got nothing else to do. So why not play video games? And then I thought, okay, why are people playing so many video games? And then I thought, I think it's just people need something to do to stimulate their brains. It's like they need that connection to other people.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Mm-hmm.
Like with people playing games like Animal Crossing and other.
Honestly, I think Animal Crossing made the best business decision they could ever have. Like whatever you think about COVID-19. COVID-19 did Animal Crossing justice because like
absolutely.
Absolutely.
What else are you going to do with your time? You already pre-ordered Animal Crossing. Come to find out, we're in a pandemic. You're locked in your house. You can't go anywhere. Everything is closed. All the cons are gone. What do? Well, I guess I will spend the majority of my time playing Animal Crossing. And since it's such a time-staking game already, just devote your time to that.
Exactly. Like my brother, I have never seen my older brother play an Animal Crossing game. He's more of a shoot first, ask questions later kind of dude, and he's been playing that game religiously for months now since he's been stuck in the house.
Right, and it's like, well, at least you can go to an island on Animal Crossing. That's
Plus, plus it's like another way of like social distancing instead of actually, calling or anything like that. You can just have people, if you actually have the console and have the game, you can just go ahead and visit other people's islands and communicate that way. And just it's a really cool way of going about things, not just the Animal Crossing, but other major online platforms like PC games and things like that. Because it's not just like physical copies, it's also just like digital downloading, which I can imagine is absolutely insane.
Right, like when I found out about the PlayStation 4 sale, like I literally, like me and David, we bought like 3 games. We bought like Mortal Kombat, Persona 5, and Far Cry 4, and like I'm just sitting here like, well, at least that's what I can do with my time. If I feel I can't do anything else, I can play Persona 5 and stuff like that.
Exactly. Like I can guarantee you most of my time has been spent playing Final Fantasy VII Remake, and that's all I've been doing and all I've been focusing on. I'm so happy I pre-ordered that.
Oh, do tell us about Final Fantasy VII.
Don't get me started. Okay, so for those in the room that do not know, I have played that game as part of my childhood. I played the original when I was like 11 or 12, but I first saw it when I was like 8, and I was just fascinated by it. The graphics were, I will say this right now, the graphics weren't, they were like triangular booby kind of deals going on.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Block structure. So I was really curious as to how they would go about with the remake, because I was worried that they're just going to change every single thing, but I was afraid that everything's just going to stay the same. Oh Lord, I was wrong. Holy crap. Because they added so much context to the story that helped it so much. Like I have felt things a lot more deeper now that I know there's like some sort of context added to it. Because according to Square, they said that they didn't want to, just remake the entire game, like cut and paste just with pretty graphics. No, they wanted to have a retelling of the entire story so that it doesn't, follow the same path. Like it's not supposed to be the exact same story, but it's supposed to be like a retelling of the original. If that makes any sense.
Right, and I watched somebody play it like for a while on a stream, and like I can see where like I remember we were playing the demo, and like we saw that when they were spoiler warning for Final Fantasy VII, it's a 20-year-old game, older than that. I don't know. It's
a 23-year-old game, man.
It's a 23-year-old game. But spoilers for that. Like when they were blowing up the bomb in that first mission, and then you see that the Shinra company actually put a bomb. They bombed their own plant and caused massacre and genocide. And they basically made the whatever the rebel group think that they caused this. I'm sitting here like, wow, that's a lot of context. I'm pretty sure I would have not gotten that context in the first game.
Exactly. In the first game, you get none of that context. Like none of that stuff that happened in the demo happened in the original game. That's why when you saw me play the demo once before, that's why I was so freaking surprised. Because in the original game, the whole bombing thing was devastating. Well, as devastating as 1997 graphics can get. But here in the original, I'm thinking, okay, how are they going to do this up? When I saw the bomb go off, I'm like, okay, that's not as destructive as I thought. If anything, it just destroyed the core of the reactor. But then seeing them actually go to the lengths that they did, using their own weapons to destroy their own reactor, to basically demonize Avalanche, the rebel group, that's what shocked me. And that's the kind of context I was hoping for when I played this game. It continues to do that throughout the game. Some things have changed a great deal. Like, I'm nearing the end of it, and some things have changed plot-wise, but it still stayed rather consistent. And I'm really enjoying this so far. Like, I'm very close to the end. Okay, what chapter am I on? 16? 16, I think.
How many chapters are in this first game of Final Fantasy VII?
There's at least... I'm still in 16, so I assume there's like 16 chapters. If not, possibly 17.
Okay, all right.
And a lot of the original story got stretched out. Like, a lot of the segments, that's why the game is so as long as it is, and I'm actually thoroughly enjoying it.
Yeah. How long it is?
It's about the... Hey, for the record, I'm not speed running this.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I have died like twice. But I have played 40 hours so far.
Oh my god.
Oh wow. Well, hey, what else?
Yeah,
do?
Exactly. I might as well. I mean, I already got through one of the funniest sections of this fucking game. Like, the whole dancing scene kind of threw me off.
Oh man, I have not seen that fully, but I heard it's crazy. Now, I'm blown away by the guy on the motor, like when you're like in the motorcycle level, and there's a guy trying to kill you on the highway, and he's just like,
oh, Roche!
balls to the wall on his motorcycle, and he's got like basically like a huge hard on for motorcycling, and I'm sitting here like, what the heck is going on?
Oh my god! When I first saw this, they're like, dude, do you? Pardon me for saying this. Do you hump your motorcycle in your private time?
Right. That's something you do on your free time.
I'm just thinking, like, Cloud is looking at this fool with a straight face. I'm like, how are you not laughing at this? Oh god, but that has been my life. Just playing that game, admiring all the detailed graphics. I'm still trying to figure out how they came up with designs like that. I already figured out the whole male ballerina thing.
Oh.
Yeah, basically, when it comes to Cloud's design, they didn't want him to look bulky. They didn't want him to look like a muscle-bound dude like Barrett is in the game. So what they did was take references from male ballet dancers instead.
Oh.
And use their figure to basically model Cloud's body.
Huh.
Because they're muscular, but they're not, bulk.
Yeah.
Cloud is a 5'7" tiny little short man, and it wouldn't work.
Oh my gosh. I now understand why people love Cloud. He's such an emo short child.
he has so much freaking snark.
Tifa is just like obviously I'm still not sure what their relationship is, but I'm sure they're like friends. But like she's always like, "Come on, Cloud, you have to cheer up." He's like, "Whatever."
Whatever.
Like
that one elevator scene with Barrett, where Barrett's just like preaching like a black man in church, and Cloud's like, "Yeah, do you really believe that?" Barrett says, "Yeah, sure I do," and Cloud's just like, "Get help." And just shuts up.
Yeah, I love that part where Barrett is just preaching like a black man in church, and I'm just sitting here like, bruh, yeah.
Bruh, stop.
You ain't need to do all this, okay?
And it's like, I'm not sure whether to be offended or... I don't know what to think.
Right.
But that has been my life. I adore this game. I got to put Cloud in the dress, so I am perfectly happy.
Does he look good in the dress?
He looks better than me in a dress, and that upsets me.
Oh my gosh.
I'm so serious. Like, there are like 3 spoilers, but there are like 3 dress options. I got the one dress option I wanted. And why does he look better than me in that dress?
Wait, you had 3 dress options?
Yeah, apparently there are 3 different dress options you can get. Because when I got a trophy. It was like, you got 3 out of 9 dress options. Like, wait a minute, I can dress up Air, Tifa, and Cloud in 3 different dresses. This is the best day of my life.
Damn, that's like great. They're really fan servicing you guys.
Dude, this game, it just has so many it's a serious game, but it has so many weirdly out of place, goofy moments where it's just like, I don't know how to explain it.
It adds to the world building.
It does.
Yeah. And I also want to shout out the music of Final Fantasy. Like, I mean, I've heard from fangirls and fanboys alike about how fantastic the music is. Like, Giovanni, my best friend, he would not shut up about the music. But now I totally understand the music. And I'm like, oh my God, music is fantastic. fantastic. Mwah! It's beautiful.
Oh, it is gorgeous. It's iconic. I am so glad what they did with the music. Anytime I play, I'm like pumped up and hyped. And it just blends so well with the what do you call that? I cannot English today.
Ambiance? I don't know.
Thank you. Okay. Ambience. Ambience of the scene, the feel of it, the battles become a lot more intense. Everything is just more intense.
I like the one track where they are in the, I don't want to call it slums, but under the city, and it's like this track where it's like, I'm not gonna do it because that's
it's probably copyrighted music. Do you remember?
It's like it's like that music where you're not in a fight. It's just a nice track where it's just like where you're either walking in the slum or something like that.
Yeah.
That is a beautiful track. Like, I can do work to that track. I can like relax to that track. And also, opposite of relaxing, I can get pumped as heck for the on the battle music. The battle music is so great, and like it definitely shows how dynamic and like amazing the battle music is. Like,
yeah, it's so well orchestrated. It's like, when I played the original, it was still really good when I played through it, but it also got stuck in my head. But with this one, it's so well done. Like, it kept true to the original music. They just turned it from 0 to 100, and I'm just so happy. Like, I legitimately cried multiple times playing this game, and I am not ashamed to admit it.
That's okay. You cry.
And I love it. I love all the enemies except for one of them.
Oh.
Mickey knows what I'm talking about.
What?
I hate it so much. It starts with a T, ends with a Y, and it is literal 2 feet tall lizard gremlin. I hate Mickey.
Keep going.
But I digress. Tomberries are the death of me, and I hate them so much. They are the spawn of the devil, and I hate them. I hate them. They're so cute, but they're so deadly. They kill you in one shot.
Oh, that's not cute at all.
No, it's not. They are literally 2 feet tall with a knife in their hand, a lantern in the other, and they will slow as heck. But if you get close, and they will freeze time in order to stab you. And one stab is all it does.
It's so broken.
It is so broken. It's like, I was playing against one of those things that like, okay, I can do this. All of a sudden, I get way too close. All my two partner characters get too close. It freezes all three of us at the same time. And just like, do stab, stab, stab. It just like took all three of us out at the same time. I was so upset. I was so upset. I walked towards my mother and just laid down beside her, and she just like, "What is wrong?" It's like, I got beaten up by a 2 foot tall lizard gremlin, and she just looks at me and says, "You're not doing so well with the animals lately, are you?" I'm like, No, I'm not. But I digress. Story is excellent. I like it so far. I'm hoping to get to the end by the end of this week.
Well, hopefully we'll hear more about it, and well, we would love to hear more about the trials and tribulations of Final Fantasy VII.
I'm just saying that if I see Zach Fair in that game, Square will be in for it. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say, because I don't feel like crying again. But I digress.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today on Kira Kira Studios Discusses. My name is Shayla.
My name is Deanna.
My name is Darian.
My name is Mickey.
And we'll see y'all next week. Bye.
Toodles.
If you want to support what we're doing here at Kira Kira Studios, please follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Kira Kira Studios. And don't forget to like and share our podcast wherever our podcast is found. Thanks, and see you next time.